far as a script goes,
Recording.
Olivia, so there are like specific questions. So he calls them video parts. I don't know if you saw that in the instructions, um,
The
but I'm
video
pretty
part.
yeah. So he calls them project video parts. So there's a part one. So it's like the questions of how did you meet, what went well, for like the first meeting, and then there's a video part two, and that is how did each team member prepare for the second meeting? Describe the presentation that each gave to each other. Were some team members more persuasive or creative than others? Describe the discussion, how we did, like basically how we came to a conclusion. Because at the second, like according to his instructions, the second meeting is when everyone makes their case for which department they think should be receiving the money. So I'm pretty sure this
Oh,
is
gotcha.
how, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is how he wants us to sort of put it all together. So he
Okay,
kind of has
okay.
the script made for us.
The last part, I guess I just didn't really, I guess I didn't think about that. I did think about this script. So I have been, I already started writing the script and it did. So the first like few points you touched on, that's exactly what, so the way I view it is that, like the real world or reality TV, you have a little bit of a video of like us, you know, in action of like kind of presenting our cases, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, you have just on the side. So I was thinking having Chris be the interviewer. He won't be on the screen, but he'll be asking you questions. And the only thing you'll see really is like your answers, and you'll just be explaining from your perspective what and each there'll be a little segment for each of us. It'll be like 15 seconds each, to kind of like go over our experience and like and touch base on all the points that he wants us to cover, and then we'll be splitting that up into increments. Does that make sense?
Cool. Is that what you want us to do Friday night when we're all meeting in person, or did you want to do that over video?
You know what? I was thinking it might be a good idea to do it Friday because then we'll have like the lighting can be the same. We won't have a lot of transitions with the light. I want it to like kind of flow well, right? And I have some lighting equipment I'd like to set up, and when I edit it, everything will look pretty like uniform.
Cool.
Let me see if your boyfriend's asking the questions, I can see if Zach would be willing to film it. I kind of told him
Yeah, I was
yesterday,
thinking,
so
for discretion purpose, like, you know what I mean? So you guys we don't have to feel like we're not saying our part, or we can't say it, like, if be honest, you know what I mean?
let me just
Mm-hmm.
see.
Because I guess he wants us to kind of evaluate each other at the end, or one
Oh,
of the parts
gee.
a little bit. Also, you guys, I don't know. I have something that I create for like that I've created for my employees, just for feedback purposes.
Mhm.
So what do you guys think about doing if I could kind of like fix it a little bit to make it relevant to us, but what if I created a template or a little like survey where we could rate each other just for constructive criticism, like reasons, like if we like things that we could improve on, and it's also
Yeah.
kind of like anonymous, and it'll give you like at the end it'll give you just like what the overall result is basically.
Yeah, we could have one of our boyfriends just like tally it up or something and then tell us. That way we don't know who said what or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Just something, yeah, some type of thing that we could do just so I think it'll be beneficial for us, like just outside of this project as well.
Well, and I think Novaso would appreciate it. I think it's definitely something to add because he did talk about that a lot and the importance of that. So if we can show that we
Yeah.
actually took that to heart and did something, I think that would be very helpful.
Yeah, I think we could add that add it in towards the end when we're kind of giving our testimonials of how the project went, and where we're going from here, or what our expectations are for the future, or whatever. Because the way I'm viewing it is that we're kind of like in acting roles a little bit here. So
Mm-hmm.
we're working on a group, but the group is technically our business team, our professional team.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry, I feel like I've like talked a lot. What are you guys thinking? My mind's been going everywhere, you guys. I've been kind of like just scatterbrained a little bit.
Well, lots going on. I know this is a big project. I'm just really grateful for all the effort you've put into this. I mean, even giving me some more context and some ideas, especially since you kind of specialize in this. I mean, I didn't know about all the other non-alcoholic spirits. I just knew that they had something for wine and they had something for beer, but I didn't realize that there were other things that you can, add to mixed drinks. So that's actually really cool. I'm very interested in that. And what I like about it is it sets itself apart from the average mocktail, right? The average pina colada that just doesn't have the alcohol. This is like the next level, which fits with the whole, rebranding thing, right? The whole rocktail or whatever we decide to call it. So I definitely like that.
Thanks. Yeah. They look really good too. I have some, I'm putting together, I have some like examples and stuff I'll send you. I've just been like going crazy on this research because it's so interesting. So one question I have, so how are we going to, so it seems like if we're going to be like, we're trying to get this money for the, each of us needs money for our department, right?
Yes.
So let's focus on that because we got to figure out what are we striving for right now. So I'm going to let you guys, I'm confused by this. So I just don't know if it should be like a rebranding thing. Like, okay, this company is rebranding, but we got to figure out where we want to put the money. Do we want to invest in something like photo booths and equipment, bar equipment, or do we want to focus on this new, our cocktails and making them even more crafted and, more quality drinks or whatever? Or do we want to do, I don't know. So if you guys have any ideas on that, that would be helpful.
Well, I think one thing that I'm seeing is, and I think it's because we're getting along so well, at least from my perspective, we really want to like make this go well as if we are designing a business. But it's difficult because I have Novosol's instructions up, and it the way he writes it, he anticipates conflict, and it really sounds like he really wants people to kind of like fight for their position, which is kind of uncomfortable, right? Because I think we all want to balance this well. So I think if we start to get a more clear idea, at least for the start of this meeting, about what we want to do, and we start to become passionate about why we want to do that, maybe we'll actually get to grow as far as we'll get to grow our negotiation skills. I don't have a cost planned out yet because I'm still feeling some of that out. I do have a list of ideas for ways to promote, and I'd love to hear if other people have other things that they have for what they're working on. I do have, I can make an estimate on how much these things would cost, but most of these things I've never really done, and I'm still trying to figure out how big the company is.
Have you guys been on the Google Docs? I think I posted a link to this website that I posted a citation to a website that had a bunch of like of the Bay Area bars and quote like direct quotes from them and the average of how much each kind of like item costs.
Okay.
So that might help you.
I mean, for the marketing, not so much. It's not really my problem. I don't care. I'm happy to help. But for my role, I could work with whatever you guys decide to give me as a product. So that's more on the
okay.
And I can market whatever price point. If it's more expensive, I can say, oh, but it's worth it. And if it's cheaper, I can say, oh, see, this is better than alcohol, right? You don't get a headache and it's cheaper. So I can take whatever angle I have to on that. That's more of a product issue.
Okay, cool.
Thanks for finding it, by the way. That's great.
Well, because I figure, so I guess the way I'm looking at it is I'm like seeing, okay, we have $100,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to introduce this new cocktail for this new business, and it's kind of like a rebranding thing. So we have $100,000, so like we have to split it up. So I think what he's saying with like that you find out or like go and do some research and figure out what it takes for that, what things you will need for your particular role. So it looks like, okay, so Sharon is marketing the marketing executive, right? Marketing director.
Yes.
And Alexis, you are the operations director of operations.
Correct.
Because we are executives, not managers. Just kidding. We're upper management.
I like the sound of that.
Right. We make like over 200 grand a year. So
it's fabulous. I'll settle for that. I'll accept that.
yeah.
Sounds good.
And then I figured I'm like the production director or whatever. Production.
The operation.
Is there another term?
Not
like, I mean, like
you're the head of the product team then, right?
Okay, so yeah, I'll be like like the product team, and like maybe I work. The way I see it, and this makes sense because Sharon and I think we were both very similar in our love for like marketing and stuff like that, and creativity. By the way, do you do like, sorry, just off topic real quick. I was like Facebook stalking you guys. No, I just added you guys on Facebook.
That's okay. You can stalk me. It's fine.
I saw that you were like all dressed up. You were dressed up like an old lady, and I was like, it reminded me of when I was in musical theater camp, and I dressed up as I Love Lucy, and I one time dressed up as an old lady. And I wondered if you did like musical theater and I saw that you model too.
Yeah, for a little bit. Those were actually taken, those modeling shots were actually taken by a friend's mom who's a photographer. I have done a little modeling, but those weren't actually modeling shots. She's just a really good photographer, and I'm a very cheesy, and I like to pose. So that was what was up with that.
I want to take, actually, I would love to take your pictures. I need to find more people to take pictures. Do you guys want to take can I take pictures of you and your boyfriend or something, your significant other?
I would love it. I think that would be fun. I don't have a lot of good pictures with Zach. The problem is our heads are never on the same plane. So one of us always looks goofy. So.
And the same goes for you too, Alexis, because what I'd like to do is grow my portfolio for weddings. So I kind of want to do like a engagement photo shoot kind of thing.
Oh my gosh.
I know you guys aren't. You're not engaged, I know, but we could do it like even like a Christmas photo or family photo kind of like theme.
I love it.
I know Caleb would enjoy that. He said we don't have a lot of good pictures. So
I can't wait to meet him. Is he going to be there, Alexis?
Yeah, he'll be here.
Oh,
I'll meet him.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
All right.
Well, cool. I'm really excited about that idea, and especially, I mean, for us, 4 years, come on, he should get a couple hints.
Yeah. You're going to have people like, you guys will already have your engagement photos ready. Just be like, look, see, we're already halfway there.
Just Photoshop the ring in there.
Yeah.
I
like it. Let me see.
Okay, so sorry to go off topic, guys.
You know what I love about this though? Because at first I was nervous, like when we first started going off topic, but I've realized it helps us understand each other better. And because we went off topic so long about drinking, we got a topic. You know what I mean? Is because we talked for so long, we had this whole thing just kind of organically happen. So I think that's definitely positive.
And you know what? I was looking up the different processes for working in groups and for, organizational management, or how to meetings and stuff. And that's what you're supposed to do in the first process is like getting to know each other, because I think you do work better with people if you're getting to know them, because if you're in a group and nobody knows each other and everybody's really shy and doesn't talk to each other, that there's going to be more conflict because the communication's lacking and they don't feel comfortable. So it's good that we established a rapport and feel comfortable talking to each other, because I think we understand that all three of us are pretty chill people, and I don't see, even if there's constructive criticism, I wouldn't be taking it personally. You know what I mean?
The only thing is, I think you and I talk a lot, and I think Alexis has some really good ideas, and I want to make sure we give her enough room, because I think you and I we take a lot of it. So
I agree.
Yeah,
I definitely agree with that.
So Alexis, here's the old lady picture.
It's on you.
That's
Oh,
me.
your old lady picture.
Oh yeah, let me talk so you can see it. That's the you see it? It's horrifying. That's me as an old lady. Oh wait, hold on. There we go. There's the context. Horrifying, right? Did you see it?
No, not yet. I'm waiting in anticipation.
Okay, it's up here. That's it. Be horrified. Wait, can you see it?
No.
There it is. Okay, here it is. Do you see it?
No, where am I supposed to see it?
Oh, it's in the screen. I put it like over where my face should be.
I don't actually see your face. I just see your shoulder.
Oh, you only see one of the screens.
Oh my god.
Okay, there it is.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. I actually won. I actually won a contest for it. It was I won best female costume because I brought a walker with me. I had the slippers, I had the fake saggy boobs, I went in character, and I even smelled like a grandma. Like I straight up used grandma smelling perfume. So
awesome.
It was intense. Yeah, it was my boyfriend who was absolutely horrified. It still freaks him out when I bring up the pictures.
Okay. So,
excuse me, stuffing my face, Sharon. I'm sorry.
Oh no, please,
so
please eat. I know it's you just got off of work, so thank you for actually just being available. I know it's hard for all of us.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Thank you guys for messaging me back at last night too, because I it was like all day I felt like I had a deadline to meet, and then that's why I messaged you guys. I was just like, wait, and then I was like, wait a minute.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Maybe it's Wednesday. No, I wasn't freaking out at you guys, but I was like, I will only message you guys because I was like, shit, is it Tuesday? I think maybe it's Wednesday.
Hey, you know what? I would so much rather you be proactive than like that person that's just like missing in action and like not available. So I would much rather have you be engaged.
Yeah, I had one issue last year where like I had been assigned to a group or to this chick, and she totally dropped me because I was just like I was going through like a really rough time too. So it was like I just couldn't keep up. I think I dropped the class, but yeah. So I just don't want to like let anybody down. So I'm super paranoid about it whenever I'm in a group. But it's good, and it's really teaching me a lot, and I'm glad. So. Yeah. So Alexis, I'm taking notes right now. So because I want to know what you think if you have any ideas of what you want to say in your part.
Yeah, I had a couple ideas that I wrote down before the meeting started. So let me pull up my list. Okay, so a couple of reasons why I think that my department should receive the money. Basically, if we're going to start adding a product to the business, then we're going to need more supplies, which requires more like operational management, and then also thinking about like larger forms of like transportation, the drink supplies, as well as like the event supplies as well. And then also we're going to need more staffing if we're going to add a product, because we're going to be targeting like maybe possibly hopefully a bigger audience, and so that's like the hiring process as well, which is expensive.
Okay,
absolutely,
awesome. So I would also add distributors and insurances and like licenses, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot right there.
Mhm.
It's a lot of money.
And I guess like also if you're hiring more employees and you're growing from a small business to a bigger business, you're going to need like workers' comp and stuff. So like that's important for your employees.
And there's also the whole benefit side. You can go down a large rabbit hole, I feel.
Yes, you can.
Yep. And then what about you, Sharon?
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So as far as marketing, I mean, it really is a huge deal because someone could get a non-alcoholic drink anywhere, right? You know, they could go somewhere and get a Shirley Temple. I mean, one of my favorite drinks I like to joke about is I'll order a rum and Coke and just ask them to hold the rum, you know? But so I think that there's a lot of options out there. So we need to be able to set ourselves apart if we want this viable addition to what this bar or what this drink service sells. So I think that marketing really needs quite a lot of this in order for us to get our feet off the ground. And then once we start generating more money, we can put some of that back into to development and to supplying. Because why would we hire a large team if we can't even support them? Is my argument. We got to start testing the waters, start slowly emerging, and as we grow, then we can hire those people to support the product that we're building.
Okay, good. That's actually really, really good. I like that. Okay. I like that you came up with we now potentially have something we can argue for, and I like that a lot. So I agree with you on that as well.
I mean, I do think it's a balance, right? Because what if we generate all this demand, put all our money into that, and then we can't support it? Then we're like a little rocket ship, like taking off and then running out of fuel, you know? Mm-hmm. We may have had that force. We may have had that the rocket ship, in a sense, is the marketing and then the product, right? It's that beautiful, shiny, exciting thing that's capable of wonderful things, but you need that thing to supply it, the fuel, which is kind of, Alexis's end of it. The people and manufacturing. Well, not manufacturing for this, but the supplies, right? That's and the people to be able to carry that out. That's also really important. So I think it's a balance, but I think we really need to take the first step forward with marketing to see, are people even going to be interested in this? We could try focus groups. You could even try a promotional thing. Maybe you're doing something for a wedding and saying, hey, would you like to try this new product? I'll give it to you at a discounted rate. Or maybe even do it for free, just charge like a normal price, like just include it into the package. Like it's not going to be extra. It's just this other thing that we're going to, but please tell us how your guests feel about it. That may be a dumb idea. I don't know, because that's not something I've ever done. But some version of a focus group.
I think it's a good idea.
Even if it's just to have people that don't drink like myself just try different drinks. We're not used to alcohol. At least I'm not. Maybe I don't like these non-alcoholic spirits. Maybe someone else does. I'd say maybe have different people try it and see if it's good. I'm confident you could make it taste fabulous. But just, try out different ones, especially if we're going to start this. We want to have the best ones, because if we have 1 million of them and people don't know what to pick, we could start to have some of our most popular ones established, so that those are the ones we lead out with.
Okay. So I think that's a great idea. I also would agree, like focus groups and surveys, just to conduct some research. I did a little bit, and what I found was that it's definitely a new thing. It started, I believe, in the East Coast, and with that's what the idea is to. They didn't want. I think the reason why there is a lot of adversity, or just like, I guess, bartenders don't like serving non-alcoholic beverages, and they're kind of snooty about it. And why you often pay the same price anyway, even though they have a button for the virgin cocktail, is because if it's non-alcoholic, the bar doesn't make any money.
Yeah.
Because they go up bar sales, right? So what their concept was like, the drinks cost $15, and they were scared about it because if the drink costs $15, they're going to be like, you're just going to give me juice? And that's why they came up with something that was really focused on the pairing with different courses to provide the same experience of a cocktail for everyone, even if you don't drink alcohol. And that is virtually like unheard of here in San Jose, because I could not find very many. I couldn't find anything in San Jose at all. The only thing I saw was like one San Francisco restaurant has a non-alcoholic spirit in their bar. But it seems like it's
what's the name of that one? I want to
market.
go there. I want to go there and try it now.
Let me give you a couple of names of places that I looked up that were really interesting. These are mobile bartending companies. There's and just the way that they make their cocktails is the way I would like to make the mocktail. So it's one of them is called Bar on the Vine. Another one is On the Rocks Bartending and Serving. And another one is Liquid Happiness Bar. There's also like one of the first ever, it's not like the first ever bartending company, but they're one of they started 9 years ago. So they kind of like got into the market early when it was still really new. And I did gather some points from their website that, because I like the way they structure everything. So it might maybe like give us some insight on like maybe what we like, what's important for a mobile bar to service. So the way that they do it, they break it down into you know what? It's actually on my phone. You know what? I'm just gonna post it in our Google Docs so we don't have to go over it. But it was basically 3 sections, and it's planning, partying, and polishing. So with that in mind, that gives us kind of like a little breakdown, and then underneath those is 8 different things that they do and that they focus on. Some of them we won't really need because that's really just about like that's during the execution stage. But some things like you're talking about the staffing and how we really should focus on marketing first before we hire a bunch of staff. And I would say we need to, when we do hire staff, we need to hire quality bartenders and like
That
kind
does
of
cost a
just
lot of
very
money,
somebody with a lot of experience. So we are going to have to pay a little bit more, but I don't think we need a lot. We just need a start with people who can train others who don't know that stuff, and then go from there. And then if we're training them, we don't have to pay as much money in wages because we're really training and they're getting a learning experience. So they're starting new, but they're going to be trained to be the best. And then later on, they can worry about like being promoted or getting raises and stuff. But definitely staffing.
Yeah,
sure.
that's true. That's important, and that would require Alexis to have more money. Is that initial hire because we can't get a whole bunch of people, right? I mean, it's only $100,000, but for that initial hire to be someone of quality, and that helps my end too because I'm really trying to build a brand, and part of that brand is the service that comes with that. Where the bartender's not going to judge you and they're not going to make you feel uncomfortable or anything like that. They're going to kind of give you the white glove treatment. And they're going to do it good. It's not going to be soda, right? They're going to make it beautiful and they're going to make it glamorous and sexy and whatever. So that's important. And I understand why she would need more money for that as well.
And well, also for your part too, I would say we need to, this actually goes for operations and for marketing. So the setup of the bar, we need to make sure that the bar is equipped to hold all of the different kinds of ingredients, that we are able to stock them and make sure that they are still fresh. We want to get like fresh because we're going for fresh, organic, because this is going to be it's an ethical business. It's healthy, so we can also touch on health. We can touch on how this is profitable for us, and we're introducing. We're also I didn't think about like, if you're pregnant and how you're like, oh man, I wish I could go drink. I guess I can't go out with you. And it's really interesting how, in society, we don't really go out. Have you ever like, I know that I have friends where like, if we go out, like we definitely always get a drink. I mean, even in the meeting, I always ask people if they want to get coffee or they want to get like a beer or something because it's just so common. But we're missing out on a whole like market of people who love to go out and have fun, and people who like can't really go and do that because it's awkward because they get hounded and questioned or whatever. And so I think it's really interesting that we've kind of shut out a whole market.
Yeah.
And how this is not something nobody's really focused on. So
well, we could build that market too, and that's the thing. There's a lot of people that don't drink non-alcoholic drinks now that might later. And that's
maybe they don't even necessarily want to drink it too. Like
Yeah, there's that social pressure, right? Or not even a pressure, just a social norm. I know that's what we do. We go out and get drinks. Yeah, well, they don't have to have alcohol in them, and you don't have to wake up with a headache tomorrow, or if you have an issue, you don't have to just put off, getting clean to like, tomorrow. It's always tomorrow if you have an issue. And of course, a lot of people love to drink and they don't have issues with it. But for those that do, oh, but I'm going out with my friends tonight. I'll come off it tomorrow. Oh, but I'm doing this. Well, no, this way you can still go out, and you may be tempted if you do have a problem. You probably shouldn't go out if you do have a problem, but at least there's something else to kind of take that place a little bit, right? You can still hold something, you can still drink something, and not feel like your hand is missing that drink.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's funny that you mentioned Shirley Temple. I actually have a recipe that I found that for a non-alcoholic Shirley Temple, but like it's not with like the corn syrup and stuff. It actually has it's a Negroni. That's funny, Negroni. Okay, so there's this drink. It's a cocktail called Negroni, and the Negroni is no alcohol, obviously, but it's similar to like what a virgin or like a Shirley Temple would be. But it has like bitters and lemon and that's another cool thing about about the mocktail thing and getting the herbs and the fruits. That's actually cheaper. That's going to be cheaper than getting corn syrupy syrup bottles and stuff in the long run. Because if we make everything fresh, that we're just going to the farmer's market. Like that's pretty much the only place we need to go. Aside from outsource, we need to find a distributor for the herbs. But I think we should maybe grow the herbs ourselves, but until we can have our own farm, or maybe find a local farm we can work with that grows them, I don't know, but that's something that I think would save money, and that's good for marketing, just because people want to know that they're getting things close from home. I mean, that's the big thing. I think with Americans is
it's
that
part of the story that I can tell the customers. It's all for marketing. It's all about telling a story, right? This person, and we could even get people later on that can talk about how this gave them new confidence in going out. This can be all about the social media campaign that I launched. And I'm really actually planning my target audience, although I want to make sure that that people know that this is for everyone. I'm targeting young adults. I'm targeting those people that are very susceptible to social pressures, or and even most pregnant women. I mean, most of them are under 40, right? They still fall into that young adult category. So whether it's pregnant women or even people with liver problems, right? There was someone who I was involved with for a while that I cared very deeply for, and he has this liver disease called primary sclerosing cholangitis, and he'll never be able to have an alcoholic drink. And he kind of has that persona as if he should always have a drink in his hand, and he could never have one, right? So if we get these stories of these people that really believe in our product, and we can kind of create this emotional following, I think that's going to be really effective.
Absolutely, because it could potentially reduce. I mean, there's a lot of benefits that this could potentially have if mocktails become a new kind of thing, because people probably won't drink as much alcohol, and they won't have as much alcohol in their system. It does, and you're correct in saying that you're thinking of young adults. But what I found when I was researching, I saw that older adults, like older people, they don't use like, I mean, I've seen some like heavy drinkers, but a lot of times they're usually more modest about it, and they are also not the type that's going to drink a Shirley Temple either.
Yes.
So they are more like interested in the sophisticated cocktail.
Well, and the thing is,
yeah.
Young is
Go
now.
on.
Everyone wants to be young. So if we target the young people, the older people are just going to follow. I mean, that's how it is.
Yeah.
This is the cool thing. You're seeing like this guy in his 60s, midlife crisis, just is trying to kind of cut down the booze. He can't handle it anymore. He still works. He's not retired yet, and he can't go back to work with a hangover. He can barely get through it as it is. And there's the young hip crowd, and he's just gotten this new toupee and he wants to fit in, and his jeans are a little tight, and he doesn't want to get an alcoholic drink, right? But he wants to look cool. So he's not going to get a soda, right? He's going to get a rocktail, and it's going to be awesome.
Yes. And then and then I just wanted to real quick, so I thought of some things that might, some cons. So these are we have a lot of really good pros for this, but I tried to find some cons, like what could possibly go wrong with mocktails. And one thing is for, I really want people who are in recovery to be able to still socialize and feel normal. But one thing that can happen is maybe this is a trigger.
Yes.
And you start with the mocktail, but then you start really wanting to move up to, the real thing, because the thing that happens when you drink alcohol is you're likely, and that's another issue too. If we don't have an actual bar, but so I don't think we would run into this problem, but I did think about this if it was like a bar establishment. Yeah. You'd run into the problem of people not wanting to order multiple mocktails, because the cocktails, they serve as a dopamine rush. They give you a dopamine, or I think it's dopamine or adrenaline. I think it's adrenaline maybe, but you get some type of positive reinforcement when you drink cocktails. That's why you keep ordering cocktails, because you keep chasing that feeling. If you're not getting that feeling with mocktails, that could be a potential loss, and it also could trigger somebody to relapse as well.
That's true.
But there is sugar, so that kind of does the same. I mean, it kind of does.
I agree. The cons are really very not really, because people recover.
We're not going to be able to fix people that are in recovery, right? But we
exactly
can be an option. That last line of defense before they go all the way. Because either way, if they're at a wedding, they're going to be surrounded by it, and they're already going to be triggered, because they only know like 2 people there, and they're insecure, and there's going to be music playing, and they're a little scared to dance, right? And everyone else has one, but at least there's just that last thread of normalcy that they can have, and they're going to taste so good. So, and if we build this brand where suddenly this old geezer that's like 70 years old feels cool and he feels hip when he has one of these because all the young people are drinking them, hopefully that will at least give him some kind of a rush. But I see your concern, and it's very valid. Alexis, sorry, we've been kind of dominating here. What are some of your thoughts on these things?
So I am creating notes on the Google Doc.
Awesome. Thank you.
As far as what we're talking about. But Sharon, if you could just summarize basically what your rationale for the money going to your department, just because it's like a huge part of like the second part of our video. Then we can go back to it later.
Absolutely. So kind of like what I said earlier, I don't expect all of the money, but I don't think it should all go into just hiring and supplies, because it's like the analogy I use with like the rocket ship, right? The supplies, all of that, it's kind of like the fuel. It's what keeps it going. But we have to have a product in the first place that can be marketed. We have to have a following. We have to have an audience. So I think that not all of the money, obviously, because we would need the infrastructure to deliver, but we need to create that following and make sure that people are interested, make sure that people are excited. So we need to spend that time building a brand, creating, identifying and solidifying our target audience, doing focus groups, your little testing target audiences, things like that. So I think we can even do part of that in an inexpensive way, even Facebook and Instagram. Later on, if we could get like even a celebrity to back us up, that would be huge. But I think some of the money initially does need to go into marketing, just so we can build this brand and create that demand. If we don't have any demand, so we've got this person we're paying all this money to, he stands around and doesn't, he or she stands around and doesn't contribute to this thing we're trying to launch. So what? We need to make sure that people want this, or that we can make people want this. So at least I don't think my department should get all of it, but I definitely do think we need a fair amount in order to help this product launch in the first place.
Okay, I agree. I agree with that. I think that part of the marketing is presentation. So we need at least one. We need to invest in at least a photographer, and probably somebody who is a photographer and can also shoot video as well.
Well, someone that could do that can design a website or manage an Instagram page. We need someone to manage the social media end of it.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
I think we could get down to two people. I think like a photographer, like a media person, who can actually take the pictures and do the photographs, and then that tech person who, like the artistic tech person who could build the website and who could make the posts on Instagram. So I think that we would need two people for that.
So I think we just need to maybe. So I think for our next meeting, a good idea would be to break the different roles in each department up. It seems to me like what we need to do is we need just people with a specialty, right? We need to just, for that department, have a certain amount of money, and that person is a manager of that department, and then decides what to do with that budget. Does that make sense?
So kind of like to build our own little teams, like little subsets.
Yeah. So I think for our next one, just so that I think that it will all come together if we have actual estimated numbers. And I actually started a document, a spreadsheet kind of thing for a budget, so that we can kind of, I'll add you guys to it, and you guys can just add in stuff.
So what about for your department then? Kind of outline what you plan to do with it, and please let us know why you should get the money.
So I feel as if, like, because I'm like the product manager, right? So I'm still kind of trying to figure that out, because to me, I feel like as a project manager, I'm kind of like in the middle, right? Like I feel like I don't know if that's correct. I'm trying to look it up right now. I'm like, what are the steps? Would you say
that you're more research and development?
I would think that.
I think so, because I would say so. That's a good idea. I think to say that, because I've been researching everything, and so maybe you guys you kind of come with your like ideas of where you think the money should go, and then based on the research findings, we can kind of narrow it down.
I think if like an analogy would be like if we were like a human body, I think Alexis would be the legs, or the hands, making it happen. And I think that you would be kind of like the brains, right? You would be kind of like the ideas, and of the actual product. I would be the heart, right? I would be that like enthusiastic part. It's like, oh, this will be great. This will be beautiful. Please, jump on this bandwagon. So I think that's kind of how to kind of draw those boundary lines. I'm trying to get people to like it. You're trying to make sure we have something to like, and then Alexis is trying to make sure it happens, that we've got the people to actually carry it out. Does that sound like a fair statement?
And then, and I wanted to say that I have some photos of a model So my friend Brandy, so you're maybe a celebrity, bringing in a celebrity. So she has a background story of going through alcohol addiction. She's in recovery, and she's now a fitness leader, and she's she already had a magazine that she wrote, and she like edited, and she did everything for it. She's a pinup model. Her magazine is called Vicious Betties. I think like for advertising, she would be great for your marketing of the product. She could be. I was going to Photoshop in there I guess you could say I'm like the tech, like doing like technical stuff, because I'm just gonna, because I worked on like some of the I have already the stuff, but I'm photoshopping like her holding one of the cocktails, basically, that, and then putting her little testimonial next to it.
I mean, I wouldn't get too bogged down into such specific details if they don't exactly, like, if they're not what Novacell is asking for. I wouldn't waste your time. I'm not saying that it wouldn't like help us. It would be awesome to have that in there, but I don't think it's necessary. I think just having the negotiation process is all he wants, and then figuring out which department gets to it. Because I mean, I don't want you to waste your time. Like, we have a thousand other things to do with all the other.
Okay, that
it's
works.
cool if we actually do it. Yeah,
it could just be in, like, I guess the list. I guess we each have like a list or whatever for what we could potentially use the money for.
Yeah,
but we don't have. Yeah, I will. Then I will stop doing that. See, that thing. I need like people to like say, Olivia, stop it. You're doing too much. I get off track.
One thing I would say though, Olivia, is it is a really good idea, and if you choose to run with this, after we're done, which could be really cool for you. Then I would highly recommend that you talk to your friend about this, because to have a testimony and to have someone who's kind of the face of your product is fantastic, because it helps people. It's hard for people to connect to a business, but people can connect to a person. I think if she kind of helps, and the face of the company may have many faces, right? But and that's another thing, right? It could be a group of people or a community, but if it even just starts with one person, people love that. People love a story. Even when you watch like the Antiques Roadshow, if an object has a story, then many times it's valued higher because people pay for the story. So that's a huge deal. But I completely agree with Alexis. The more simple we can make this, the better. And that's probably not something we could easily include into our presentation with Novacell.
Agreed. I agree with that. Okay. So, should we summarize what our next meeting is going to be, and then pick a time for the meeting tomorrow? And I'll try to be on a laptop so I can be face to face with you guys.
I can set up another Zoom meeting too. I can take care of that since I figured it out. But before we try to close, I'm still curious because it just wasn't clear to me, and maybe you said and I just missed it. Olivia, why do you think your department should have the money, or at least some of it, right? It shouldn't just all go to me and to Alexis and I.
Because so I want to be. I think it's important to research. I think the research is important because we're providing an experience. Yes. So there needs to be a reason for why like our price is a higher end price, because that's the goal. It's a higher end kind of market. We're in the Bay Area. The average median income is $100,000 all around, pretty much. So I'm looking at, so people, they want to know what they're getting. So we need to be researching the different ingredients and what are the health benefits of these ingredients. How are they economically and environmentally contributing, something positive. Also, like, we want to know what kind of what are people receptive to in terms of like knowing which way to go with our marketing plan, right? So I'm thinking we want to know like what's important to people. Do they like, is it important? Like, are we appealing to their emotions? Like, what kind of emotions are they feeling when they would be like sensitive to or responsive to, I guess you could say. So are they more responsive to like the non-alcoholic story? Are they more responsive to like a chic kind of modern metro kind of metropolitan area kind of vibe? So we want to get a vibe for the market. So I think just going along with you, Sharon, and your focus group, also conducting surveys, and then also hiring experts on different ingredients, like sommeliers, basically. We need sommeliers for wine because there's non-alcoholic wine, and we want to understand why it pairs well with your meal. So that's what I would use the money on, is to research those things. Mainly, if anything, money has to be used, or there needs to be money in the budget to seek out these experts and to get their opinions as well.
Yeah. Well, and I think what's cool, and Alexis, this is something, since you're taking notes, if you want, that we can also talk to Novacell about, is one of the reasons we're able to be so cohesive, I think, and one of the reasons we're able to see the importance of each other's departments is the fact that ours are so closely knit, right? There's a lot of overlap, whether it's focus groups or the product or analyzing the audience. So we could use it as a talking point, that we were able to negotiate with each other, because many times if one person or one department succeeded, it supported our own goal. So I think that's definitely an interesting angle, right? I mean, if you, Olivia, during your time, you kind of develop an understanding of the audience as well, and you develop maybe some of the best drinks, right? You find out which ones are the most popular while you're developing this. Then I can piggyback off of that, and now you've given me more material to market. So I could say, oh, well, that will help me understand if you get maybe a little more money than I would have wanted you to have, right? Because I could say, oh, well, this still benefits my department. I'm still going to try to pull for that money, hypothetically, but I can still be negotiated with, or be willing to talk to you about it, because I can see how there's overlap. Some of the information you get will help me. Some of the things that you develop will help me reach out to customers. Again, this is hypothetical, right? I'd hope you think I'm not that selfish, but from a business angle, and then with Alexis as well, right? What you're helping to kind of, Olivia, you're helping her know what supplies she needs in the first place, right? So that way she's not buying the wrong things. And for me, right, I can kind of get a better system of the demand, so she's not hiring too many people. So because of that, she may be more willing to let us have more of the money. At the same time, looking at Alexis's end, I want to make sure that that people can handle all the demand that I'm generating. So I think because our groups overlap so heavily, that could be a really good talking point. How we deliberated or how we were able to persuade each other.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, right. I think what it is, it's what you would call a successful collaboration. It's that we are in the collaborating. We're not in the, what is it? It's not really compromise. It's collaborating, because I think all of us will benefit from it.
Yeah, we all want the same goal, just for the seed. So,
well, I think we can articulate why too. It's not just, oh, well, we all like each other and we know that this will help. We can actually specifically talk about why it's a good idea, for this to be somewhat balanced.
Yeah, definitely.
I think Novacell. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I say way too much. Please, Alexis.
Well, I do think that we do need to come to a decision of just one group getting it. Yeah. So I think that, yeah. So maybe we could, tomorrow for our meeting, we could do like our little presentations, like add some numbers in or some research, whatever you can find, and then we can make the decision.
Okay, yeah. So I will conduct the research. That way we have some solid information to go off of, and we can come to a conclusion as to where the money should go.
I don't think it has to be one person though, because I
Yeah,
feel like
no, we can all do our own research.
Yeah. But what I mean is the money. I don't think it needs to just fall on one person. Yeah, we need to research.
Oh, really?
He kind of words it that way, but he never, if it was that way, he would like have bolded it and italicized it in red, like, you know, you can, only one team can get this money. And he doesn't really say that. I mean, I've read through it. Maybe I've missed something, but I don't think he really says that.
Well, here's what I think I predict will happen. I predict if we had to choose, it would go to marketing department. The reason for this is because we could potentially do something where we decide, okay, summer is coming up. We're in February or March. We're in March. So we could set a date for when this product is going to launch, so that we can generate buzz and kind of see how excited people are getting about it, see how many inquiries we're getting about it, which will then allow us to understand how we should work with the operations department in hiring later.
Mm-hmm. So we need to know basically what the how many people are going to be interested, so we know how many people to hire. Is that?
But if we're all tapped out and we have no money, then we can't deliver. Yeah, so there's people that are excited, but we're kind of assuming we also have this other money in the back, which we may not. You know, okay, so it's summer, people are excited. That's great. Now they're disappointed because there's nothing. Or they taste it. They're like, oh, this isn't good. They never tested this. You know, where did they even get these ingredients? This doesn't go with my food. So I think marketing should probably get the majority of it, because here's the thing. Once let's say marketing gets the majority, we have a huge group. Well, now we've got customers, and as we're fulfilling those customers' needs, we're generating money, and now the wheels are turning, and that will kind of fall in and fill the other team's empty cups. I think kind of unfortunately Alexis would be on the very end of that, because we do need to have a good product that I can market in the first place. So I think marketing the most, and then on Olivia's side, making sure that we have a good product. And then as people like this, and then Alexis will get some money so that she can actually supply for the demand. And as the demand kicks up and she's supplying, then more of that money later on can go more towards her taking care of this demand that's rolling in. I think it's kind of like a little tiered waterfall.
No, I don't want to complicate this really, but I'm wondering if maybe, I'm thinking of one of the videos we watched, or the little mini simulations, and how they were playing with the toy gun, and they had to decide on what to use the money for the toy gun.
Yes, that's right.
But what they ended up deciding, they ended up compromising, and each of them got a little bit of something that they wanted. So I don't think it's wrong if we end up splitting it. If, however, I don't think Novacell is going to grade us if we end up splitting it and we end up doing that. I don't think that's going to take any points off. However, if for whatever reason that did, I have a solution to that problem, because the way that the events work in the hiring your mobile bartender is people, there's you talk when you're doing the proposal and you're going through that with them, you find out what their budget is. So we're not even going to deal with people who can't pay. I mean, that sounds like kind of shitty, but we're not even dealing with people unless they pay a certain amount of money. And then on top of that, they have to leave a deposit. So we're actually already getting money. We're generating money before we have to deliver, because people are booking us in advance.
Oh, that changes everything. So it's
right?
mostly
So
marketing then. It really should go to marketing because the
yeah, it
rest
should
of
go
it's
to
pretty
marketing.
self-sustaining.
Yeah.
Except would the deposit be enough for your first job, right? Do you already have some little traveling thing? Do you already have transportation? Do you already have the cups? Do you already have the alcohol? How much of that can the first deposit cover?
If we are going by like basically on my inventory of what I have right now, it would really depend. We'd have to like see how many bookings we had, because that has been my struggle, is making sure that I have enough, like I have reliable staff. That I do have multiple bars. I have 2 bars. I have multiple bar kits already ready. But we need another bar. We need more bars that are themed. I think that goes into the marketing and presentation, because I worked with a bartender bar company who charged $2,000 for 3 cocktails.
Wow.
But if you saw the work he had put in, he built the bar from scratch. It was like an old barrel style looking bar that he had built, and it functioned like an actual bar. Now his bar is really, really hard to transport. I mean, it was huge, but what I think would be cost effective and just like efficient is something that's like folds up and that can be easily carried and moved and then decorated after that. So something plain and simple, probably made out of like something. I'm thinking like I really like the I like the Gatsby era, the old fashioned
Oh, I love
kind
that.
of era,
Like
right?
the speakeasy type thing. Yeah, that's cute.
The speakeasy
People
kind of
love
thing.
that.
So he used his garnishes. He used the ingredients that he personally grew from his own garden as like decor on the bar. So it made it look very fresh and lively. And so I think it's important to really, really focus on that presentation, that what like people are going to look at it and they're going to think this costs a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I contact these people, I'm going to be paying a high price, but what I'm getting in return is very high quality and very professional bar at my own home.
And those are the people that buy again.
Yeah, and those are the people we want to attract.
Yeah, that's true.
So marketing is key, I think.
Yeah, because we do want to build strong customers, people that can afford what we have to offer.
And what's nice is that people will they'll probably like Instagram in front of it, right? So that's
yes, if it
free
looks
advertising,
good,
exactly.
If it looks good, they will stand in front of it.
Yes, and also that's why I think that a good investment would be in a photo booth,
or like a photo frame that they could take a picture in. Yeah,
a photo frame or a photo booth that takes photos. That's free advertising, because they'll be posted, and then it has people visiting the website because they can go to the website and they can also get the pictures from the website.
Yeah.
But it makes it generates traffic for your website, and it also it's free advertisement, and it people will definitely flock to. That's what I noticed when I was looking at all the different bars. They all had other services and stuff that they did, but one thing I saw was like photo booth, because that's just a moneymaker. You basically pay like $1,000 for a photo booth, but then you charge $500 per like party. Usually, you're making that money back and plus. So then you have more money to put into the business.
That's true. That's nice as a package deal. It could be an option, right? It could be optional, but maybe it's cheaper if you get it with the bar, right? It's like, oh, well, it's only just this much more because we're paying for the full bar service. So why not throw in the photo booth, right?
Yeah. So I'll put I actually I saw look at those bar companies that I showed you. I think they have photo booths or I took some notes, but I think I wrote down some notes, and then I also like copied and pasted some notes to document. So I'll make sure that those are all like on our Google Docs so you guys can see it.
Cool. I don't. So like, if we've come to a decision then, which is cool. So I think really all that we need to do now is just make the final video together, basically.
Yeah.
Summarizing this. So maybe we'll just for like Novacell to make him happy. I might go back into like the negotiation part of our book and try to add in like keywords from the text. Like,
I love that.
Like talk about like what we did and like how we came to a decision. But I think honestly, just the rest of it is just putting the video together. We might not have to. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but we might not have to do a team meeting tomorrow. But just like really, so I started on the same Google Doc that we've been working on. Basically, everything that we've talked about tonight. If you guys just want to look into that and add anything else for us to talk about in the final video, I think that's pretty much it.
But didn't he want us to do 4 of these meetings? Aren't there supposed to be 4 of them?
So they're called milestones. So milestone 3 is producing the video.
Oh,
And
so he has it set up differently. Okay. Yeah,
milestone 4 is so milestone 3, produce the team video is exact words. For the balance of the video, cover the topics in milestones 1 and 2. Milestone 1 was talking about how we got together in that process. Milestone 2 was talking about the like how we all presented our piece of the pie basically, and then negotiated to decide that marketing gets the money. And then milestone 4, it says also produce the team video. So that's the final segment explaining what the group did right and wrong during the negotiation process, and 2 or 3 valuable insights for improving the negotiation process.
Okay. So that's where I think that the milestone 4 is basically like an evaluation kind of.
Correct.
And that's where I think that we should do like the theme of like you're being asked in an interview like how it went, and like what you thought of each individual and their part, and like your overall like perception of how things went. Each of us will have like 15 seconds to kind of talk about that.
I do want to give you a heads up. So I just found out Zach will not be able to join us on Friday. I guess he was leaving to go out of town somewhere. So he will not be there, unfortunately, but hopefully you guys will get to meet him some other time.
Yeah, definitely. No worries. We will be seeing a lot of each other, I'm sure, or at least we'll be working with each other a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So yeah, I think we pretty much have come to a conclusion. So tomorrow, I think we don't have to have another meeting, is what you're saying?
We don't have. I mean, we can, but we don't have to.
Yeah, I think
Should we just call it like maybe like a brief check-in, and then I would say just like a brief check-in, I guess, because I feel like I kind of need to just maybe make my side a little bit more concise.
Well, we could do that on Friday too, right? I mean, is that an option to do it on Friday?
Actually, yeah. Why not just film 2 videos?
Yeah, because if we have other things we need to add, we can add them. It doesn't all have to be tonight. It's just the different phases, right? So phase 2, it's pretty much done, and we can just solidify and then do our little talk about how it went on Friday.
Yeah. So okay, good idea. I'm gonna go ahead and just we'll just be submitting stuff onto the Google Docs. So just look out for the script, and just so you can. I'm basically gonna prepare some questions that you'll probably be asked during the interview, and give you kind of like how much talking time I'll need you guys to talk for each segment.
Perfect.
Okay.
Great.
Sounds good. Well, this was pretty productive, I thought.
Yeah, this is different. Definitely interesting. I feel like it's a good learning experience to kind of think about things and to try to find things that maybe we're missing. I think it's very useful.
Oh, and you know what? So the only reason I want to send you guys the video of our first meeting. And Sharon, I totally agree with you that probably me more so. I talk a lot. I already know this. This is something that I'm consciously aware of and trying to fix and be a better listener. So I noticed a couple of things about each of us, and definitely I think you guys would benefit from watching it. It might help you guys with your evaluation process as well. So what I'm trying to do is just break it down into little 15 second videos that I can send very easily, and then I can just put them all together, and that'll be better too in the when it comes all together in an actual video as well. But yeah, so I'll send that to you as soon as I get it.
What were some of the things that you noticed?
I would say I definitely noticed that Alexis is very quiet. I realize that you and I are very similar, and also that and I get a sense of, and I definitely could see your anxiety a little bit. I get a sense of a little bit of insecurity with you, Sharon.
Not surprised there.
And yeah, I can see a little bit of insecurity. You're super smart and very effective, and you're probably really great. You've been great so far to work with.
Thank you.
But I would suggest to practice positive affirmation. Focus, because the only thing I see really is you're just a little bit you're when you say things, you're confident. I think you know what you're saying, but I think you have a fear of offending or being wrong. I don't know, saying the wrong thing maybe, because you have a lot of hand movement where you put your head down and your eyes down sometimes when you're making a point, and put your hand up to your lips.
Oh, I just did it. Oh my gosh. When you said that, I giggled and I'm talking right now with my hand over my face. Oh my gosh. You know me too well. That's scary. I was literally doing it while I was getting embarrassed about doing it. That's so funny. This is very insightful, by the way. I really appreciate this feedback. This is huge. So please continue.
Yeah, but I would say that, yeah, you're awesome. And I think, I don't know, because some people I don't know how you are in front of big crowds. Are you the type of person that likes to be in front of a big crowd talking, or a small crowd talking? You feel more comfortable? Because you might be better at being in front of a big crowd.
I think I force myself to fake it more in front of a big crowd. I definitely, I think the thing is, and you're right, I am actually extremely insecure, but the reason I also come out like I'm not at the same time is because I'm very passionate. So if I care about something more than my insecurity, I'll still be very outspoken. Like yesterday, because my company that I work at is getting acquired, and it's this huge mess, and it's extremely stressful, and I might lose my job. And during this time, this big CEO from this company that's acquiring us, he showed up, and he was asking questions, and and he's the CEO of Juniper, about 10,000 people, right? And I just, was able to raise my hand and ask a question super confident, like it's nobody's business. So there's those moments of that, but then the next moment I'm super, super terrified. So I think it just depends on how badly I want something. The more I want something, the less insecure sometimes it depends. It's situational, but I think the less not insecure I'll come across, because it's not about me anymore. It's about whatever it is I really want. But yeah. I'm really interested in the mannerisms, because, as a recruiter, I have to come across as confident. It doesn't matter how I feel in that moment. It matters how I look. So, I mean, any of those mannerisms that you pick up, please mention them, because I can't see myself when I'm interacting with people. And I did have a really, highly professional recruiter tell me that I do break eye contact a lot, and that disengages people.
The reason why I noticed it so much is because I'm like that too. So when I'm filming YouTube videos, I often will look away a lot, So I have to like go back and I have to like redo it because when like it looks funny. So you're gonna it's like you have to like watch the video because I think it'll be helpful. I also noticed, just I evaluated myself as well, and I definitely talk a lot and I go off topic a lot, and I definitely need to focus on listening and just having speaking my points directly and concisely and getting to the point faster.
Yeah. I think it's what I've noticed as a recruiter, many times these things are a two-edged sword. I've seen that people's greatest weaknesses, or what, not greatest, but one of their weaknesses usually corresponds very strongly with their strength as well. Whether that's someone who's really passionate, sometimes they can come across as overbearing. That's not an example of you. That's just a random example. But like anything like that, or maybe people are very, very detail oriented. So they get hung up on things and they get stuck. But then on the positive side, they really deliver on the quality element. So just like you have a lot of things to say, it makes things interesting because you have a lot of things to say. We now have this really cool topic that we can discuss. At the same time, then people that maybe don't like to talk as much, like Alexis, have even less space to do that. So yeah, I think it's a balance, but I'd say there's definitely a strength within that as well. I love that you're contributing. I think we've gotten so much out of the things you've had to say, and I feel like I know you better. So and I think that helps us bond as a group.
Yeah, and I would like to elaborate just a little bit on Alexis. Alexis, I get the sense that you have, you're like me also, and you're very chill, and you like beer. Also, you have I don't know if this is true, but I have a dry sense of humor sometimes.
That's true.
I have a dry sense of humor, and I got that from you. And so I think that you are really good at listening. You are a very good listener. My only tip to you is that definitely don't be afraid to be assertive, because I think you have great ideas. You're very smart.
Yes.
And I want to hear more from you, definitely.
I will try to bring this to the next meeting.
Great.
All right, guys.
Sorry.
But it's true. I totally agree with Olivia. I feel like so many of the really good points come from you. I think I feel like you're the silent backbone of the group. I mean, you initiated this group in the first place. You chose to speak us both out. And meanwhile, well, I think you're just sitting there listening. You're taking all these notes, and you're super organized, and it's huge. And so I think the thing is, even though we both have our little quirks, each of us is contributing in our own way. And I think that is very positive. And as we can push ourselves to grow, and maybe there's ways that are harder for us, I think we'll get more out of it. But I still think that we're all bringing a lot of positive things to the group.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Well, I think it's worked out really nice. For sure.
I have some things I'll send you guys, some videos that I watched that have helped me just understand how to communicate better, and how to communicate with strength. Actually, I was watching. It was a video about cops and how they assert their dominance and how to dominate a conversation. And when you apply it, and he applied those concepts to business. But when you apply it to business, just I think focusing on your body posture, and just certain things that you say and how you say them is very beneficial. It's something that I really want to get better at. So I'll send you guys a link to that this is off the record. It's just a side note. A friend sending you guys a link.
I love
video
it.
I like.
Thank you. Well, and I love this type of stuff anyways. I mean, I psychology background. So that's a really big deal for me. I used to study body language quite excessively. And it's really helped me. It's hard because a lot of those strong poses, they don't come natural to me. But, once I forced myself, to sit upright and do the classic steeple effect with my fingers, or to take up a lot of space, many times the mentality will follow. So I have found that helpful. So any additional information on that is great for me, because I know that I have come a long way. So if I looked insecure, I am head and shoulders from where I was before. But I definitely would like to grow more in that. I think that's a really important part to communication, is to actually look like you believe what you're saying. So.
Well, I can see that you've gone through stuff, and that you've overcome a lot. So because I have, and I think that's where we relate.
You can recognize it in other people if you've had it in yourself. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I seem to I'm sensitive to struggles, I guess, especially because I suffer from depression, and I actually and I think I've mentioned that I have borderline personality disorder. So there are a lot of
I've never been officially diagnosed. It was poor Alexis. She's like, where is this going? I've never been officially diagnosed. A psychiatrist she's like, I don't specialize in this, but I think you've got it. So just go look it up on the internet and figure yourself out, which was like the worst thing she could have possibly said. It was absolutely horrifying. Depression, all of that. So I think it's helpful to have that background, because then you can understand people, and I think it helps whether you're, if you're in human resources or if you're in marketing, right? Because you've been so much inside your head, it can be really exciting to try to get into other people's heads, and it doesn't have to be in such a negative sense, right? In a positive way. People like us, we spend so much of our lives trying to figure out what makes us tick, and who are we, and what do we want, and why do we feel this way? But we start to develop these skills, and I think that they start to translate into relating to other people. So it can be very useful.
Absolutely, they're very sensitive to emotions. But yeah, mine's self-diagnosed because I was misdiagnosed with bipolar disorder. But I don't suffer from manic depression. I don't suffer from manic episodes. I seem to follow more of a borderline structure. But Professor Novosel and Professor Dr. Chamis and the director of the program have been working with me and helping me get back on track with my mental health. So I'm going to get official assessment soon.
That's great. I need to do that as well. Because again, she just was like, yeah, I think this is what you have, and I can't deal with it. So go find someone else who specializes in it.
Well, I'll let you know how it goes, and
let me know, please.
I'll let you know.
You can tell them. You can. Oh yes, we should.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, I was done. No.
Feeling bad for Alexis.
Yeah, I know. Poor Alexis, you're like, oh, get me out of here.
These bitches are crazy.
We're sorry, Alexis. Thank you. We'll wrap this up and we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, and then afterwards, when this is all over, we'll have another. We could actually have another drink party, and I could make some mocktails and cocktails if you like.
That'd be so fun, and then maybe this time my boyfriend can actually come.
Speaking of that, what would you guys like to drink on Friday night?
We have similar tastes, Alexis. I think whatever you pick will be fine. Did you already get Blue Moon though?
No, I haven't. But I cannot buy an IPA.
No, you don't have to get an IPA. But I like what you drink. I liked what you drink, or I don't really care. I'm not really picky. I'm like an off-brand kind of like person. So whatever you think's cool. Like
we can get some Ambers then. That's fine.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
And then as far as for me, I will be really easy to please because I'm trying to do this whole health diet thing. I was doing it for days. I was doing really great. But then, my company got acquired and I got depressed and there was cake. So I've just been eating all this like nasty stuff. And so my body's now used to the nasty stuff again, but I'm trying really hard to get back on track. So I feel like, it's almost like an alcoholic, right? They're trying to get better. Like for me, I'm trying to come off all the sugar and whatever. So I'm going to try to be really good. So probably the only thing I can drink is water, unless you have tea. I will drink tea. I can even bring my own tea if you have hot water. But I'll just drink water or just like bring my own tea. So thank you.
That's it?
Yeah, I don't know what else I can drink. I mean, I could drink milk.
Juice?
No, juice has too much sugar. That fructose will ruin me.
Alexis, if you like have like any like lime or like soda water or like any kind of like berries or what, if you have like any kind of thing, like whatever kind of that kind of category of stuff, I could probably whip up a mocktail from just about anything. If you have,
I
yeah,
can get some
pretty
soda
much.
water and what kind of berries do you like?
I like anything. Any type of berry. They're all delicious. I know they're expensive, so don't worry about it. But if you want to knock yourself out,
These are the ones we bought a
if you
box.
want to get like get some like, if you want to get like mint and like lime.
mint
Okay.
and lime. Yeah, and actually,
Mint and lime and soda water.
and if, because I know soda water can be a little bland. If tonic water's fine too, because that doesn't have a lot of sugar. It's lower. So
No, don't get tonic water. That will not go good with the cocktail.
oh, good to know.
But it will have a little bit of sugar in it because it'll have a simple syrup.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that should be fine. One drink won't.
What's your macros for the day? It's okay.
Perfect. I will allow it for myself.
We can call it a part of our research. You're the focus group, and you're trying the
take
product.
a video of me. Yeah, you can take a video of me drinking it and getting all excited. This will be perfect. I will model the drink. That'll be great. I'm actually really excited to try whatever. If you guys, and again, if you guys get busy and it's just water, that's okay. I don't want anyone stressing over my special.
Promise.
Thank you. You guys are so sweet. I think it's so funny that I was like deliberating over just like a special mocktail, right? Like I don't even drink alcohol, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Like sugar, that's a little too edgy for me. But this sounds fabulous.
Well, I think it's kind of cool that they're making they made like spirits that taste like these, because it's like now, Sharon, you get to try an actual drink, and you like just so you have it, you know what it tastes like, and you probably hate it.
I probably will. But what if I love it and then I can't get it all the time? Then I have to like go to places and like buy these like special spirits.
No, you won't have to do that. They're so easy to make. Honestly, the reason why I came up with these is like I literally was broke and had nothing. I've used just whatever I had in my fridge to make things, and I just kind of put it together. And that's like I want to like I'm trying to like keep all my recipes, because I would like to form a book or whatever, so like people can make them at home. But they're super easy. It's really simple.
That's awesome. Well, and that can be something that we could promote at the, hypothetically, if we were, going back to our business. That's something you could even promote, like little flyers just on the table, like, hey, if you really like some of these, you can make some of these at home too, and maybe people will buy the book.
Yeah, definitely. And that would be good for like social media things. You can have people sign up for your newsletter and like be members of the Olive Teeny Bar squad, and then they get a recipe each month and a little complimentary, like maybe like a complimentary box in the mail with a Olive Teeny Bar infused syrup, and then a cocktail list.
This is awesome.
Or a cocktail recipe, so that all they have to do is just add these couple of ingredients, and then you have yourself a drink.
Well, we could promote a drink each month, right? Like you might have your standard ones, but even occasionally we could promote like a new one, like, oh, drink of the month.
Yeah.
And that would be fun.
Yeah.
Like summer themed ones or fall themed ones. So cool.
Sounds
all
good.
right. Well, should we call it a night?
Yeah, I think so. Which, by the way, thank you guys so much for being my partners. Not only is this like this project is I'm very passionate about, but it's like super helpful for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm realizing that how to really formally develop a business, because I did this on a whim, right? So it's like this is so educational for me, you guys, and It's really awesome to have your help with it. So aside from like our project, like thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you so much for kind of bringing your own business into this, because it's exciting for us to, at least for me, I don't want to speak for Alexis, but it's exciting for me to actually develop something that might somehow actually be legitimately useful. Yeah, that's nice for me, as opposed to just like putting all this work into something where none of us looks at a video and goes, oh, that's okay. They look good. Cool. Done. Great. At least this way it's something, possibly, maybe some ideas are coming up for you. So I love that.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys, and I will. We'll chat on Friday. We're gonna like just talk through like Google Docs tomorrow, and we're gonna film everything on Friday, right?
Yep, sounds good.
Yeah. And
All
if
right.
I'm
So
not
what
paying
time
attention
on Friday, by the way? Sorry.
I will have to let you guys know because I'm trying to get off work at 6. If I can get off work at 6, then like 7:30 would be awesome.
cool.
But if I can
that's
only get off, I'm scheduled till 7, so I'm hopefully I can get off earlier than that. I will let you guys know.
I'll plan for 7:30 then, and then if you're like, hey, I could do a little earlier, I'll go, okay, we'll come earlier, and if it's a little later, then it's a little later. We'll get this done.
I'm never mad at later because I'm usually running late. So don't feel like you need to rush or anything at all.
Yeah. I need to clean.
You don't even have to clean your apartment.
Oh no, I'm. That's already started. Don't worry.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys later.
Yeah, thank you for hosting. Good night. Bye.
Bye.
Good night, guys.